What's going on, everyone? So the first thing I'm going to talk about is 2,000 subscribers. I am going to be going live. I'm not going to have a set time or date, so it's up to you. If you have your notification bell set and you have free time, if you want to join me, I'd really appreciate it. You can ask me any questions you want. I'll leave any comments, or just we could BS about whatever you want to BS about. I want to do these live streams because I think it's a unique way to interact with my subscribers, especially if you're a new selector and you got some questions you want to ask. I could sit there and answer them all for you. So if you're a new selector and you want to join me at 2,000, come join me. Like I said, the live streams is something I'm definitely going to be doing. How often? I don't know. We're going to see how this goes. So with that being said, guys, I welcome you to the Warehouse Series. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my videos. Leave comments, give me a thumbs up. And I want to say that this video right here I put out a little while ago, and everyone, I get this question a lot, either privately or in my YouTube section of my comments and over on Discord. I need to pick, how do I get my percentages set up, picked up? And I explained a lot of different things in there. We're going to be talking about this even again today. So title of this video is how can I get my percentages up, my standard time? So we are going to talk about that today. All right, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is I had this question also asked in my live stream. I've answered it before. Is what do you mean by throw to throw? And guys, this is what I hate about some trainers. They teach their trainee from the very first day, you touch that case once and you leave it alone. I think that is totally wrong. That is something you need to be doing further down the line. You should be touching those cases as much as possible to get yourself a nice base, get your pallet nice and square, and not have crappy looking pallets. This is why we have selectors at our warehouse that have been there 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months, a year that are still building crappy pallets because their trainer told them to touch that case once and leave it alone, and they did not teach themselves how to build a good pallet. Yeah, so we are going to be going over a couple pictures of what I'm talking about. You're constantly taking mental notes down. Before we get to the first picture, I want to say that I trained again, okay? And we had a gap in our pallet. And it was a gap that we couldn't fill in because we just kept getting bigger cases. And I told him, don't worry about that gap. We're going to fill it in. And then he grabbed a case of Pringles. I said, stick it right over that gap. So we had half of the case on a case, half in the gap, and the other the case was leaning up against another one. So there was a slight slant to it. And he just looked at me. I said, don't worry. I said, we're going to get a couple cases to fill in that gap. I'm already taking mental notes of what cases I need to fill in that gap. I know we have smaller cases coming up in the order, so I'm taking mental notes of what I need to fill that in. He grabbed the case. I said, that's the first case we need right there. He put it in there. And then about like 8 cases later, I said, that's it. I said, that's the second one we need. He put it in and it was perfectly level. And he started laughing. He like giggled. And it's just, guys, when you're a good selector, you're constantly taking mental notes of what you need. And if I put a case on the other side of the pallet and I'm struggling building, something on my other side of the pallet, well, you know what? I threw that case over there. I'm going to take it from over there. I'd rather have it over here. Don't be afraid to move cases around, especially on your training week. I still do it to this day. If I have a case that I need to fit, I'm going to take it from somewhere else and put it there if I need it. If it's more important to fill in that layer over here than where it's at, I'm moving it. I hope that makes sense. But I get this question a lot, and I just constantly give the same answer every time. So, all right, guys. So this pallet right here is a dairy pallet that was sent to me off of Discord. And what am I talking about? Okay, so I always say you need a strong base. Although the first 2 layers of this pallet don't look bad, but my 2 orange arrows are on 2 cases of lactate that if they would have removed the bottom case, I would have faced it inwards. The same block that comes off the pallet, if you can do the same block that comes off the pallet, that's the way you want to build it. And that is 1 case this way and 2 back this way. I would have dropped those 2 lactates straight down, okay? Lactate straight down, and it would have gave me a nice solid corner with a nice second level, okay? And then here is the side view of that same photo, or of that same pallet. The yellow dot, I would have turned inwards, and it would have allowed me to fit those 2 lactates straight down, and I would have tied in that bottom corner. So, it's as simple as that, guys. I mean, it's not hard. It's not hard to do, but when you get that mindset that there is no method to doing this. All I got to do is throw boxes and keep going. No, there's a method, okay? When you build this dairy, and I don't care what aisle in, if you're in a 50 aisle or A aisle, wherever your dairy's at, every single order, someone's not coming over and switching all the cases around in between orders. It's the same setup every order. The stores are ordering 80, 90% of the same product every order. Find something that works and stick with it. I cannot tell you how many times their palettes look different every time. You could give them that same dairy order every time. And their every order will look different. Why? Why is it looking different every order? It's the same cases. You put all my pallets together, you give me 10 dairy orders, and all 10 of my dairy orders are going to look identical. I'm throwing the same cases every time. I find a system that works, and I stick with it. And that's what you need to do as a new selector. So they should have turned these cases inwards, dropped those 2 lactates down. Now back to the other picture that we were looking at, the front of this pallet. These 2 coffee mates over here that are going this way, they should have faced them inward. All right, it would have filled up that back corner a lot nicer, nice strong corners. Yeah, and then the rest of it, they just said the heck with it and they just started throwing boxes up there. But guys, it's the simplistic things. And then we're gonna go back to this picture again because I want to show you the bottom of this. Guys, anytime there's a flap open or anything to that nature, I turn it inwards, okay? Because I don't want that flap hanging open on the outside because I could swipe it and then I could rip that box. You can catch that flap on something. And then the second case in back here, it looks like it's a little smashed at the bottom. I would have turned it inwards and it's not even out to the pallet all the way. And it's not spaced out. I would have spaced it out a little bit better. There's multiple things, although this person has somewhat of a square pallet, but there's multiple things going wrong here. So let's look at the next picture. All right, this one here, once again, sent to me off of Discord. The first thing I want to say is what I told you before. Listen to your cube. If your total cube is 72 cube and you have a 1 pallet order and it's 72 cube and you get a back under of this water, and look, I told you all the time, just pallets that come off the dock, they will be hugged towards the middle of the pallet. Look at all that wood showing off the back. Not to mention, this is not even a good piece of wood. I don't care that I needed 2 layers of this water. If I would have came up on this, knowing that I have a full pallet, I would have threw every single one of those waters because that's just what I am. I take pride in my work and I know right off the get that I am not going to have a good pallet because of this stuff being hugged in towards the middle of the pallet. So I would have threw all these waters. And then from there up, it's just, this is what throwing the throw is. This is throwing a case, not learning a system, and just throwing boxes. And that's that. So let's get to the next picture. All right, guys. So now I'm going to show you some good pictures. Some people that know what they're doing. Dairy pallet. It's mine. This is my dairy pallet. I made my times on this dairy pallet. I move at 1 pace. Every selector in our warehouse that can make their times and build good pallets, they move at 1 pace. And it's not fast. I'll tell you that right now. It's constant. It's not flying off and on their jack, hurrying up and running around. It's 1 pace, but it's constant movements. They never stop. They're not stopping and staring at their pallet. If a case doesn't fit, they throw it down and they will find that place for it later. It's about constant movement and learning your system. I have a system. My dairy pallets look like this every single time. Once in a blue moon, I'll get one that doesn't work out because maybe I'm just having an off day. But this is what my pallets look like every time. And then I told you I haven't selected in dry goods for like 10 years. Well, I go down and I'm building pallets like this. It's because the system that I used up at dairy, I am using it down here. There might be slight differences, but the process is still the same. And that's how I can leave this warehouse for 10, 15 years, and I could come back and I will still build pallets like this because I have a process. I just don't know why people can't get that. If you learn to build your pallets, you will get your times up. Like I said, not the answer you guys want to hear. Let's look at another one. This person right here off of Discord, newer member. I appreciate you joining. Look at the work. I guarantee this person did not sit there and move cases around 50 million times. They have a system, they used it. Last picture, also off of Discord. Look at my arrows. They put their Arizona tea down and they put their ocean spray down. So they already know they're a good selector. Are they going to take 2 more cases going this way straight directly on top of that Ocean Spray and Arizona? No, they're going to tie it in. All right, because now they would have a weak corner if they kept stacking straight up on top of it. Their mentality is the next time I got to tie it in. I got to keep everything to the outside corners of my pallet. I got to tie it in, and you get a great pallet looking like this. Guys, I don't know what to tell you. I preach it all the time, and I'm going to keep saying it until I'm blue in the face. Your training weeks, you should be learning to build your pallet. Ask as many questions as possible. That's why I'm here, because sometimes your trainers aren't there for those questions because they have different jobs they're doing, so maybe you're not seeing them. Send me pictures of your work. I will help you as much as possible. But I'm telling you right now, you want your standards up, you want to build better, you got to build better pallets. It's as simple as that. So for everyone that asks me, how can I select faster? How can I get my times up? Build better pallets. Learn a system and stick with it. Guys, that's it for today. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you next time.